We have a few clients that we work with and people that want to work with us, and they've got a show and they've got all this stuff. And basically what happens is they get like a condenser mic, super sensitive. They're not right next to the mic, so they're pretty far away. And so you hear all the echo of the room. You hear the dogs barking, the cats meowing, I'm sure, the mailman, and, doorbells and just breaths and echoes. And this is what happens to people when they come to me and say stuff like this. They're like, all right, here's the recording. We didn't use any professional mics or anything. Do what you can on that. And it's like, well, it's not going to be super easy on us. I'm not an audio engineer. So maybe this is why. Maybe it's because I'm just dumb. But I'm like, well, garbage in, garbage out. But you're an audio engineer and you're using a dead cat, and also just anything to get rid of plosives. So it sounds like you might believe in garbage in, garbage out. So where does the line go on what can we edit and fix versus what should we try to handle prior to or while we're recording?
The first thing that I would recommend anyone do is you got to learn basics first, and you have to not make the problems that later on you're going to try and fix, or if you can't fix it, you kind of just shrug your shoulders and say, well, that was recorded and we have to leave it in. So, just learn the basics, a quiet room, right? Don't do it in your kitchen where there's a lot of reverb, where there's machines humming, in the background. Get a good mic. Mic technique is important, all that kind of stuff. But
what do you mean by mic technique?
So where to place the mic and where to place yourself in relation to that mic.
Right.
So like
walk us through it.
Well, so like right now I'm staring at you and you have the mic pretty close to your mouth, somewhere around 6 inches or so, but it's off to the side, maybe like 45 degrees. You don't want to have it directly in front of you. Exactly like that. You don't want the mic directly, because if you do, the mic is going to get plosives. So it's that gust of wind coming from your mouth when you say P's or B's or TH's. It's going to hit the mic. It's going to be a really
harsh,
harsh, ugly sound. And if you have someone throughout an hour-long conversation that is constantly doing that, the listener is probably going to turn your podcast off, or whoever is working on it in post is going to have to spend so much time hand cleaning all of those plosives. So, the thing that I wanted to talk about today is audio cleaning or audio restoration. So, your basic show, when you work post-production, you're going to do, you're going to adjust the levels of the individual tracks so that they kind of match. You don't want to have one speaker really, really low and the other speaker really, loud. You're going to do maybe some compression, some EQ, and these are all just your standard tools that you have available to you in your DAW. Well,
what's a DAW and an EQ and that other thing that we don't recognize?
Right. So a DAW is a program, a digital program. It stands for Digital Audio Workstation. And that's the environment that you import all of your audio files into to process and manipulate. And then, you'll export that as the actual show. Compression and EQ, all that stuff, those are just the everyday tools that, anyone that is doing post-production on a show uses. But there's an entire set of tools, though, that I think not a lot of people are aware of. And those tools are going to help you with the plosives, with the dogs barking in the background, with the door being open and closed. So there's the industry standard program called RX. And what happens is RX allows you to really clean all of that background noise. So in your typical DAW, you don't have any of those tools. You because DAWs are set up for music, mixing music. So putting reverb on things, putting delays on things. they don't address the noise. And for podcasters, that's kind of one of the most important things, because most people aren't going to have good mic technique. Most people aren't going to record in really quiet environments. So like you said earlier, we're given those files and they're noisy and it's really hard to listen to. So it's like, what do I do with this? My DAW isn't equipped to handle that. So what do you do? So you have to find other programs to help do that. The industry standard, again, is RX.